Hello, and thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel. Stephen Lamb Associates has put this channel together originally so our clients can see the progress of the model railroads that we're building for them. And during the years, we've had a lot of good comments on our channel, a lot of good inspiration. So we certainly want to encourage that even more. So we thought we would interview a few of our clients. So we have a small series of interviews coming up. So we hope you enjoy them. And thank you very much for watching our videos.
Yeah,
Well, Paul, I wanted to thank you very much for joining us on the Zoom. And I thought,
sure.
because you were one of the ones that were pretty much affected by COVID as we were building your layout. So I thought maybe we could just chat a little bit about that. And maybe this will inspire other people that are out there either looking to build their own layout or having us help them build the layout, what we kind of went through. So you're a recent customer. I mean, when did you actually kind of hear about us as far as builders go?
Oh, I see. So, well, it wasn't that much earlier than when we actually started working together. So, I don't know, when was that, a year ago? Basically, I did a little, internet search, looked at Model Railroad magazine, and I was looking for someone who, that had I could obviously this is not going to be built in my house, so you got to be able to listen good and communicate back and forth what you want, right? As you know, this is not my first time doing this, so but I wanted somebody which wasn't that far away. That just keeps costs down, things like that. But there were several other companies that were either not in business anymore or they were too busy. And so and your website had some really, I would say one of the better websites doing this kind of stuff. So a lot of really good videos, pictures. So that gave me a good sense that you guys knew what you were doing, and you had the full shop. You weren't just doing bench work and things like that. So that was really helpful. And also, you guys are not Johnny come to lately. You've been around for a while, and that says that being a small business owner myself, that says that you're delivering some value over many years. You've been over a lot of different projects, big, small, whatever, and that says something to the product that you're putting out. So that sort of tumbled. I once I started talking to you, Steve, I really stopped looking at other places. I mean, when we first initially were talking, I was considering some other spots, but after a while, I said, all right, these guys know what they're doing. I think let's just go with these guys. So
Well,
that's what I went. I
that-
mean, we weren't deep into the design stage or the estimate stage before I pretty much said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So
all
yeah,
right.
that's sort of how I got to you. It wasn't some sophisticated thing where I was, comparing bids and stuff. I used to do that when I was had a real job, but I just knew it was going to work out. So
Originally, you had hired us so we can add on to your existing layout, which you were actually moving to a new home, correct?
right. So when we're in the design stage, it was also when we were packing up and making plans to move. So we ended up, moving in April this year, and that was quite the challenge. So I mean, moving an existing layout is of course, a whole other project. But but anyway, I had moved the original layout in myself. I knew how to take it apart and all that stuff. As complicated as that might seem. So yeah, I mean, we were doing that design and the same time as working on that. So yeah, a lot of moving balls, so to speak.
Literally
Yeah,
moving parts, right? So,
yeah, a lot of moving parts. That's true. That's
you
true.
know, well, part of
Yeah.
that, this year, I mean, obviously was a challenging year for everyone. everybody wearing masks, everybody worried about the virus. You're out in New York State, we're in Massachusetts, so there was a lot of logistics going on. But one of the things that I think that was nice that you decided to go on to a little bit of phase two. We were doing phase one, which is the bench track and the wiring and the design work, obviously. But then you wanted to do a little bit of the phase two, which is our scenery part. And one of the things that you had mentioned is that you had a lot of structures you wanted to build for us to do.
Yep.
Actually
Yep.
came in handy for some of my guys because when we were shut down for 3 months, we had some projects to do. Scott, for instance, and Jonathan both were building some of your structures, so maybe they can comment on that.
Yeah,
that,
I
that
think
worked out great.
you know, it wasn't my original plan, but then it's a vision of the new extension came into being, how large it was going to be, and how much space I had for buildings and things. And I started acquiring, kits, and I said, oh Christ, I got like 20 or so of these things, and there's no way I'm just the amount of time it would take to build them all. And oh man, this is this is what's needed, so to speak. And I said, I'll have you guys do it, and that was a smart move. I mean, I'm gonna have you do more of them. I mean, you're way more talented at this stuff than I am. I don't have a certain level, but in model railroading, everybody has a level of patience and detail that they like, and you guys are way better than this than I am. But this guy is exactly. So, and they all look great, and I got another 20 for you guys to make too, by the way. So, yeah, that was
Well, that's
I
great.
know it's your situation, and I was happy to have you do them. I mean, it saved a lot of time, and it was good value too, by the way. I mean, it wasn't, it was a relatively small part of the overall project, but it fit in nice, and as I said, I got more. So.
Yeah, that definitely worked out well. Definitely worked out well during COVID. We were able to do a lot of that at home while we're quarantined. But it's also nice to have the kits built so then you can see physically and where they go and see how it looks as far as scenery and wherever everything gets placed.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, a lot of these were Walters kits, and you can get the footprint. So you can get the dimensions. You publish all the dimensions in the footprint. So that was, because we had a design, we had a layout. I mean, you could, 80% of the where's it going to go was created beforehand, and so that's why I bought the ones they did, because it fit the concept, and I know all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm still obviously placing them now and that kind of stuff. I moved them around a little bit, but that was in fact we had a design, and that was very helpful. So I could send them off to you without worrying, well, where am I going to put them? Well, I pretty much had a decent idea already and that kind of thing. So I think that worked out. Continues to work out good. So yeah.
Now, Jonathan, maybe you can explain about Paul's layout wasn't, wired the normal CC way. So, because Paul, you're conventional. You're back to the DC, which your original layout was built. So it was wired as a DC layout, correct?
Yeah, and again, this original layout was 28 years old. Was certainly back in the DC days, and I decided to stick with that. I know that presented some, I'll say, minor challenges, given that you don't do that many of that type anymore. But yeah, it was. It's just a lot more wiring, as Jonathan will attest. There's more wiring involved, but it's what it is, right?
Okay.
Well, it all centered around that, making a control panel to match the other original side of everything, and that being the starting point for all those wires. Although it was more wire in length and the amount of wire, the simplicity of it was something that we were able to get done, or helped us get it done a little quicker. it all went to toggles, and from there it was all very straightforward.
Well, yeah, you're right. And another element, of course, because it's an extension, the panel that you're talking about with is a new panel. There's really now two panels, right? And which panel was going to run what portion of the layout and things like that. I mean, that's sort of stuff that we went back and forth on a little, but it works out. I mean, I've been using it now, and it's you can conceptualize how things are going to work, and then you actually do it. And there some differences come up, but I think it's working fine. And we can find the little things to tweak, but it's fine. It's working the way I had envisioned it, and I think that's pretty remarkable because again, you have this idea of what it's going to look like and how it's going to operate in particular, but when it shows up, and it actually works, it's not always going to be that.
That's
way.
a good thing for us.
Pretty close to what I envisioned. So
that's a good thing for us that it actually worked when we get it to you. So just one other question I thought was maybe how our customer service was. How were we maybe getting to you, keeping you in touch with the project, things that we might have done to help you or help our.
Well, we used all the media, right? We had phone calls, we had FaceTime calls, we really shared a lot of drawings back and forth. So ones I made, ones you made, back and forth, that kind of thing, So we used all sorts of all the techniques available, and I think that was necessary. Certain things that it's hard to envision and actually point out, particularly because we are hooking into an existing layout. So you had not been here, you could physically see the points where it was going to attach and things. I mean, that certainly made it challenging. We had to, educated guesses and a lot of measurements and a lot of back and forth on how they're going to connect the sorts. But, that was necessary for this type of product and project. And, there's a lot of listening, a lot of talking back and forth, and trying to understand the concept. And so I think that made it maybe a little challenging than like a standalone layout. Once the design is done, maybe you can go ahead and do it and show up with it. But this one had a number of, as you know, when we finally met physically, we had some modifications were still needed, and but pretty close, And so if you're there's a lot. I would say there's a lot of communication and a lot of listening back and forth on both sides, which really made it work. So again, it's not just me with you, Steve. It's the whole team. I had a few calls with your son and back and forth. So we've got a lot of people involved, and I thought it worked out good. So your desire to stay deeply in touch with me during the design phase was pretty critical, and that was how it should be done, I guess. It worked out fine.
Well, thank you very much for that compliment, because that's what we work for. We all love it. We all love the hobby in general, and we love what to do, and we try to put in more than what the client expects. So is there anything you'd like to add, or would you recommend somebody to us, or if they need help with their Motorero?
Again, the only thing I can add is, don't be afraid to throw a challenging project at you guys, because when I was researching you had quite the portfolio there. So, and then again, this is because you've been doing it so long. So, and I love hearing all your stories about these other things you would encounter. So that's a good thing, because you probably have seen everything, I'm going to guess, not just complexity, but people, various, styles of people, how they work and things like that. And I would say to anyone is, don't be afraid to give you guys a call and check out what you guys can do. Again, you have another one in your portfolio here. So,
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.
Well, we appreciate everything, Paul, you know,
Yeah.
you and your family has done. When we set up the original, plan to deliver it to you out in New York, that went pretty well. In fact, we had scheduled the full week to attach it, but we only ended up using basically 3.5 days to set up.
Right.
So,
Yep.
so, being on the budget is always one of my favorite things to do for a client. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't really expect that. That was, you obviously gave me an estimate, and that was within the range. I wouldn't, kind of get to the last penny, but I appreciated all that information you kept giving me, every report, things like that. I didn't expect that, so, but it was useful. It was useful to know, and so it wasn't like you were looking for a big check up front, and we paid as we went, so to speak, as you did the work, which I think is a good deal, a good technique, because we did add some things on later, and it got added on, and that kind of stuff. So I think that was, I mean, for some people, would make them really feel very comfortable that you're doing the work you said you would do at the price, the rate. Right, spending rates, you said, I think that would have been, that's a good, keep doing that, I would say. Wasn't that great, important for me, but I can think others would really think that's a nice touch, I guess.
Yeah.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on Zoom with us. And we look forward to working with you in the future. Keep on, keep your trains going.
Yeah, thanks a lot,
Yeah.
Paul. Hope you're having fun with your layout.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Good.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a like, and also subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that you'll be up to date when we post a new video. If you want to see more, check out some of the other videos on this channel, and also visit our website, slatrains.com. There you'll find updates on the current projects we have going on now, and also contact information so that you can reach out to us and we can start building your dream model railroad.